What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
So I have cousins who think that they're cousins, but actually they're brother and sister and sister and sister. One of their moms abandoned the other one because she was on drugs. So her sister, who was having a hard time having children, picked the baby up and raised the baby as her own. So now they all think they're cousins, but in fact, they're actually brothers and sisters. Not only that, the mother who abandoned her child, she knew who the daddy was. She knew who the papa was. And that papa ended up with her sister. Not only that, but at least this is my theory. My theory is that she got rid of that baby and abandoned that baby because she knew who the daddy was. And she knew that the baby was going to be really, really dark. Because the daddy is really, really dark. And all her other kids are really, really light because she was messing with light and white dudes.
I don't even know if y'all ready for this shit. Family tears. My grandma was in on it. My dad was in on it. I don't know who the hell else was in on it. But I didn't get to live my life with my birth mom because I've been told a lie that she had died. And that she had chosen to do drugs and shit. Come to find out that's completely false. Even worse, when my dad retired from the military, they give you every piece of documentation that you've ever filed with your name and your social security number on it. They were divorce papers for my dad, between my dad and my mom. That's not even the worst part. In the divorce papers, it said that I went to my dad and Trina went to my mother. Who the fuck is Trina? You ask? My sister. And my mom is not dead. She is very well alive and she is a wonderful, wonderful mother to me. And I am so happy that I found that shit out.
The family tea that I found out once I got older was that I started realizing that I was calling my auntie, who's my mom's sister, but she lived with my dad. Then I realized, say, my older sister's mom is also my mom's sister too. Then, the younger sister married my dad and had a baby. Trifling, dog. You guys are nasty, dog. Don't mix me, eh? I just told you a little tea, but you didn't hear it from me. Watch me holding my titty like I have titties. Yo, I'm done with myself. I'm done. I'm done for the night, guys. I'm done with you guys. Don't talk to me no more. I'm done.
Okay, let's see if I can fit it in. So I just found out last year from my cousin, who is 6 months younger than me, that it was always known to her that she was not supposed to ever spend alone time with grandma. She was always encouraged to go and hang out with grandpa. Essentially, everybody knew that grandma wasn't okay in the head. My grandma is the reason why my mom got DID. My grandma is the reason why I got DID. No one protected me. They all thought that I was stronger because I wasn't as shy and delicate as my cousin. And maybe that's true. So I'm glad she didn't have to put up with what I had to put up with.
One of my aunts that I had never met had a child while they were incarcerated, and he was put up for a closed adoption. So a lot of the family knew that he was around, yet some of us never knew. Quite a few number of years back, he had found my sister on Facebook and started to communicate with her. So we all, opened up our arms because, the rest of the family doesn't really like us as much. So being the black sheep of both sides of the equation, we, got together, we got to meet up, and it was actually a very lovely experience. But there was even times where the adoptive mother tried to contact my grandparents, and though I thought they were good people, were very rude to this woman when she just wanted medical information about the adoption.
One day when I was a kid, I needed a drink of water, and I had to work up the courage to go downstairs and ask my dad if I could have a drink of water, because my parents had a thing about once they sent you to bed, you need to stay in the bed. Anyway, I started to go downstairs to get a drink of water, and I noticed that my dad is outside arguing with this unidentified woman. So I was like, okay, great. I can hurry up and sneak past and go upstairs and not get yelled at. Imagine my surprise when I rounded a corner, I ran straight into my dad, who was like, what are you doing? Me and my shock and horror couldn't figure out how my dad, who I can still see arguing outside, was also inside. I went ahead and just went to the bathroom, just thinking I was dreaming, although I was fully awake. Round the corner, said goodnight to my dad, got almost up the stairs and happened to look out the window. And I was at a perfect angle where I could see that my dad was still outside while also still inside. And I couldn't explain it. I tried to tell my mom the next day. She thought I was dreaming. It wasn't until after my dad died that we found out he actually had an identical twin brother. My dad's name was Freddie. His name was Eddie. They were switching places, so the question is, who actually died? No one can find Eddie.
So when I was a kid, my grandmother drank a lot of coffee. It wasn't like coffee that everybody else was drinking at the time, because she had like her own special coffee, and she would drink it all the time in her coffee mug. Everywhere we went, she had her coffee mug that she would take with her. She would put it on the dashboard of her car. She drank this coffee so much that there was a ring on the dashboard from where she kept her coffee cup. But when I was older, I found out that gallon jugs of Carlo Rossi white wine aren't coffee. They are alcohol. And she definitely drove us kids around constantly with a mug of wine on her dashboard.
I am the family tea, actually. So when I was a little kid, like around 12, 13 years old, my uncle had this wife who has mental problems, who could not have children, who, long story short, was having an affair with my dad, who was trying to get my parents to have a divorce so that she could somehow get custody of me and my sister. And when that wasn't working out for her, she attempted to kidnap us. And when that didn't work, nobody cared. She still comes to all the family reunions. My own mother will interact with her and be nice to her and will get mad at me for not wanting to speak to her or not wanting my daughter around her. When she tried to kidnap me. When she tried to tear my whole family apart because she's crazy.
This is honestly kind of funny. I hope it doesn't get to too many people, but my dad's first wife, before my mother, part of the divorce, well, part of the reason why they split was because she cheated on him with her brother. Her brother. I think it's such a beautiful thing, you know.
So this story is about my dad's father, my grandfather. So there's a lot of side notes, so I'm going to break them down for you. Side note number 1, my parents are divorced. Side note number 2, my mom has known my grandfather since high school, so she's had a long history with him. Okay. And side note number 3, my dad's not exactly forthcoming with a lot of things. So this story, I don't think I would have ever found out about it had my mother not said anything. So please, 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 please do not bash her. Okay. So 2 weeks before my grandfather passed away from cancer, okay, my mom was in town because it was being known throughout family that his time was coming. It was only a matter of a week, days, who knew, right? So my mom wanted to come in and say goodbye. So my mom, seeing that I am falling apart, right? Because in my eyes, my grandfather could do no wrong. This man to me was everything. In fact, I spent 2 years while he was in the hospital, every free day I had, instead of going out with my friends or, you know, having the luxury to be able to do things I would like to do, I was in DC visiting him at the hospital, making sure he was okay. So my mom took me to a bar to try to help me decompress, and she told me all these wonderful stories about my grandfather, but she said there was something about him I didn't know that she wanted me to be aware of. So like I said, my parents are divorced, okay? They divorced when I was in my mid-20s, just like when my grandfather divorced my Nana, my dad was also in his mid-20s. And the reason why a divorce happened was after having 3 kids, my Nana exactly was not skinny. So obviously her body went through a lot of changes. My grandfather worked for the government, and so he felt the need to have someone young, skinny, beautiful, who could be a positive influence when he went to social events, you name it, right? There comes in my step-grandmother, the mistress. Yes, he had an affair, apparently. And this went on for a while until I guess he fell in love with her, fell out of love with my Nana, and decided to divorce my Nana to marry the mistress. Okay. Now, he basically started over a new life with her, and they went to adopt my other aunt, who is actually a few years younger than me. So that was the tea. Had I had not known, I think I would have been okay, but it changed some perspectives, but, I still love my grandfather, and I hope, he's doing okay wherever he's at,
Oh, let's see. I got one for you. My sister. Alright, so she'd been cheating on her husband with this man probably for at least the last 15 years, I reckon. And the whole family knew about it. They would make jokes and stuff at every family function. And, I didn't know what the jokes was about until I got older. And they made the jokes at one family function, and I realized that she'd been cheating on this man for the last 15 or so years. And then when the man finally died from complications related to diabetes and dementia, she married that fool. She married that motherfucker. And then got mad that the family didn't want to give her their blessings because she got married to someone who she had been having an affair with